Hi there, welcome. Are you a fan of food? Don't answer that, of course you are. You wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for food. But today we aren't talking about food. I mean, we are, but we aren't exactly talking about real food. We'll be talking about anime food. Even better, anime food made from very questionable ingredients. So today we'll be talking about Dungeon Meshi, as it's better known in English, Delicious in Dungeon, a series about a group of adventurers that delve into a famous and mysterious dungeon to rescue a party member of theirs. However, the biggest threat our heroes face isn't the local fauna and flora that are every bit hostile towards them, but the more primal fear of hunger. So to circumvent this, our heroes must make use of whatever they can find in the dungeon, from the local plants to the monsters they slay to make mouth-watering meals to sustain themselves as they go deeper and deeper into the dungeon. It's a great series that I can't recommend enough. However, today we aren't here for a series review or something like that. We're here to rank all the meals our heroes prepare during their delve into the dungeon. But before we do, I've got to make some things clear as well as establish the criteria for ranking these meals. First, this video is the first part in a two-parter that will focus on the first half of the anime, which is currently airing. The second part will be out by the end of the anime's complete 24-episode run. Second, this video will only cover meals up until episode 12 of the anime, so there will be mild spoilers, but nothing too serious. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next part when it comes out. Cool? Cool. Okay, on to the criteria for ranking these meals. I'll be judging the meals presented based on three factors. First up is the presentation, which is basically how the meal looks and the preparation process. Second is the taste. This is based on what I think the meal's texture and taste would be like. And third are the ingredients, what ingredients were used and the process involved in gathering those ingredients. After all that, I'll give the meals a final ranking between S to D, tier list style. So without any further ado, let's get cooking. Huge Scorpion and Walking Mushroom Hot Pot. Our first monster sourced meal of the series definitely sets the bar and shows us the standard to expect moving forward with the series. It's a meal that looks rather simple but alluring. The scorpion meat leaves a strong impression, making you want to try it for yourself, and the fact that the meat looks so compact and easy to pull out gives the impression that it wouldn't be a struggle to eat. Meat aside, the rest of the dish looks really good, though I'm not a fan of the big chunks they're cutting, especially the mushroom and the tree roots, cause it gives the impression of having to take big bites out of, which looks like a hassle. The preparation process looks simple enough too, looking like your average hot pot process. Surprisingly enough, the scorpion doesn't seem as stressful to prepare as one would think, taking the obviously poisonous parts away and you're good. For the taste, I can't help but feel like it tastes good but nothing too amazing. It seems like a pretty average meal. From my impressions, I feel like the scorpion would taste very similar to seafood, catfish especially, and the slime noodles give me the feeling that they taste like rice noodles but with a lot more muted taste. The ingredients of this meal seem pretty easy to get. It mostly consists of low-level monsters and stuff you can find everywhere. However, I think the most stressful part about this would be the slime noodles, since one would need to have prepared for them way beforehand, so if you had an intense craving for this, don't expect to have it done immediately. So with that, I give the huge scorpion and walking mushroom hot pot a final rating of B tier. The man-eating plants fruit tart. Now this is really appealing. Despite the fact it's called a tart, it's actually more on the salty and savory side. So like it's a really thick pizza. The bright orange coupled with the shiny looking fruit makes the meal look really attractive. It gives the impression that this is one of those meals that instantly melt in your mouth when you eat it. Though you'd be left with the crunchy looking fruits when you eat them, so if you aren't the kind of person that doesn't like when textures in meals clash, this might not be for you. I do like the preparation process though, as it seems super simple and could be easily replicated in real life with some real world alternatives. This meal is described as being both sweet and savory, which is a no-no for me because I don't really enjoy when food does that. Coupled with the clashing textures of the crunchy fruit and the soft like tart parts, I imagine it would be similar to spongy eggs. I don't think I'd enjoy the meal all that well. A meal being made from dangerous man-eating plants seems like a lot of hassle to prepare just because of the trouble that comes with dealing with the man-eating plants that, mind you, could plant their seeds in your skin. It doesn't seem worth it. So I'll give the man-eating plants fruit tart a rating of C tier. Mandrake and Basilisk Omelets. This looks crazy good. A nice and simple dish that doesn't have any complexities to it. There's built-in simplicity and this owns it. There's just something incredibly captivating about the bright orange and gooey inside stuffed with Mandrake and Basilisk, and the simple preparation process just adds to the allure. So you really can't go wrong when it comes to making eggs. It's basically eggs and chicken with a slight bitter aftertaste, thanks to the Mandrake. Simple in nature and design, you really can't screw up the taste, even with mild seasonings. The perfect combination of two of the most versatile foods in the world. Once again, it's basically chicken and eggs with some vegetables sprinkled within. Pretty straightforward, however I think the hardest part about this would be getting the chicken part, since Basilisk could prove to be troublesome to deal with, but come on, it's a giant chicken. It seems more than worth it. On the other hand, the Mandrake could be annoying to deal with, so maybe substitute that for something else. I give the Mandrake and Basilisk omelette a rating of S tier. Mandrake and Big Bat Kakiage. I'll be honest, this doesn't look all that desirable to me. Now I'm all up for fried foods, but something about this doesn't rub me the right way. Maybe it's because the last time someone allegedly ate a bat, the whole world got traumatized for it. The preparation process doesn't exactly vibe with me too, mostly because of the frying part that looks way too easy to screw up. Like there's a thin line between having this turn out great or having it soak up too much oil. I imagine this to taste like deep fried vegetables. I mean, that's exactly what kakiage is, but for some reason I can't help but feel like it would taste specifically like carrots. Still making use of the Mandrake means it still has that bitter aftertaste. I don't even want to begin to wonder what deep fried bats taste like, but I assume it splits apart very easily. It does look like a meal best served straight out of the fryer, cause any longer it just ends up turning into something akin to dry fries. Its main ingredient, having bat, is not something I like, so I wouldn't get near this meal with a 10-foot pole, so it's a huge no for me. I leave the Mandrake and Big Bat Kakiage with a rating of D tier. Dwarf style living armor stir fry with living armor soup, grilled living armor, and steam baked living armor. First off, I love how living armors are presented in this series. Revealing that it's actually a colony of mollusks caught me by surprise, and our heroes find the best way to prepare it too, taking advantage of the armor itself to cook it. This has been one of the most creative looking meals in the series so far, and it looks pretty appealing to me. I feel like this would taste pretty good, but nothing too amazing. The mollusk itself would probably taste a lot like calamari, but a lot juicier. Though I think the faint smell and taste of iron from the armor would throw a few people off and probably turn a lot of people away from it. Especially if that's the case with the steam-baked head that kinda tasted like mold. So unfortunately, this meal leaves a lot to be desired. But I feel out of all the dishes, the stir-fry would be the best tasting. You really can't go wrong with stir-fry. With the main ingredients being mollusks from living armor, it might prove tedious to take down and acquire. Plus, I don't think it'd be all that sanitary to eat organisms residing in moldy and occasionally rusty armor. So unless it's thoroughly cleaned and prepped with stuff like vinegar and salt, it'd be best to steer clear of this meal, but when prepared well, it would definitely seem worth it. So I give the living armor meals a rating of B tier. Fresh vegetable lunch from the Golem garden with stewed cabbage and turnip salad. This meal is like the most normal looking meal in the series. It's vegetables, you really can't go wrong with them. The only added bonus this meal has is the fact that it tastes even better than normal vegetables because it was sourced from golems. But it really looks like your average run-of-the-mill fantasy anime meal with huge chunks of carrots and potatoes. Also, what is with that massive cabbage? It's a simple dish, nothing too outlandish about it. I mean, it's vegetables, but with better taste. I'd gladly gobble it up if it means I get to eat vegetables. It's one of those simple meals that you can't really mess up. And with the basilisk bacon added, it makes the meal all the more tasty, so I have no doubt it'd be an enjoyable meal. Since these are vegetables gotten from Golem specifically, they'd be pretty hard to get, so it's pretty easy to substitute the ingredients for the average everyday vegetables you'd find at whatever market near you. I still feel like the vegetables are a bit too largely cut for the meal though. The fresh vegetable lunch from the Golem garden gets a rating of B tier. freshly picked stewed cabbage with spicy chicken and stolen bread. Yet another pretty simple meal without having anything out of the ordinary used. However, the real star of this meal is the bread. I mean, just look at it. This is some damn fine bread. Might be the finest anime bread I've ever seen. This meal is especially spicy, so be warned. I personally can't handle spicy food all that well. The moment it's more than I can handle, I begin to look like I'm fighting for my life with every single bite. It's never a pretty sight, but the bread shall be my saving grace. This, like the last meal, is one that could be easily replicated since it uses pretty basic ingredients. However, I think that the fact that these were stolen makes them taste even better. So you know what to do, don't go buy them, steal them. I hear that kind of added adrenaline makes these things even better. But the bread though, because of the bread alone, I put the freshly picked stewed cabbage and spicy chicken with stolen bread at A tier. Natural and tasty treasure bug snacks. Shiny. Out of all the meals so far, this has been the one I really wanted to try out. You know that thing where you come across shiny objects like coins and rocks that they just look so appealing to you that you just want to put them in your mouth and just shuffle them around your teeth and just to feel the texture? Is that a like normal thing normal people want to do? Well, yeah, this meal hits that part of my brain that just wants to do that. And this is actually edible too. So I can't stress how much I want to try this, but it does seem like the preparation process seems kind of tedious, but definitely feels worth it. Don't let the metallic and gem-like appearance fool you. They're said to be pretty creamy with the coin bugs tasting like fish. I don't know why, but I feel like it tastes like sardines mixed with butter. But man, I feel like the real show stealer is the treasure bug jam that is described as tasting really sweet. I want to try this so bad. Weirdly enough, the gem-like parts aren't all that hard, but rather soft and squishy, adding to the creamy texture. Since it's a dish made entirely from treasure insects, getting your hands on those ingredients might prove to be difficult. Though there are people that raise them, it feels like something of a rare delicacy. There's also the fact that they're basically bugs, so if you're the kind of person that can't handle bugs, don't eat them. I'm one of them, but the desire to put shiny rocks in my mouth far surpasses my disgust for bugs. Being the most visually appealing meal and the most desirable dish to me so far, I give the meal a rating of S tier. Exorcism Sorbet to drive away evils. Like the treasure insects, this also hits that part of my brain that makes me want to really try them. Its bright and colorful appearance really draws me in, so just like the last meal, I really want to try this out. Considering the primary ingredient is holy water with a bit of slime and treasure bugs, I feel like it would taste like really creamy vanilla ice cream with a twist. It's sweet and you can't really go wrong with a sweet treat, but my biggest concern is what ghost tastes like, which I can't even begin to imagine. This one is a mishmash of a lot of things to make up holy water. Adding the fact that it needs treasure bug jam and the ghost essence means it's even harder to make if you don't have a proper means to deal with the ghosts. Also, would eating ghosts and their essence be considered ethical, considering they're like dead people? Exorcism Sorbet to drive away evils gets an A tier. Boiled Mimic. Yet another rather simple dish. There isn't anything extra added to it, but it doesn't make it any less appealing. Though I can't help but wish there was something else added to enhance the dish. It's a straightforward meal, it does look bright and appealing, so I'll give it that. Since it's a crustacean, I imagine it tastes a lot like lobster or crab, which you can't really screw up. There really isn't a lot to say about this dish since it's pretty basic, but it does give the impression that it's not very filling. I was actually surprised that in this world, mimics are actually crustaceans, as opposed to other series that are just mimics being treasure chests with sharp teeth and long tongues. The mimics in Dungeon Meshi are a lot more diverse with their mimicry, which is pretty cool. Though I'm not sure if it's easy getting your hands on them considering mimics are stumbled on by chance. The boiled mimic gets a final rating of C tier. So hey, if you've been enjoying this meal ranking so far, maybe leave a like cause it really helps the channel out a lot. Remember, this is just the first part in a two-parter series, so to make sure you don't miss out on the second part, consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon so you'll be notified when it drops. And while you're at it, I'd love to hear what your favorite Dungeon Meshi meals are in the comments below, so that I can judge you. But yeah, the second part will be dropping at the end of the second core of the anime, so look forward to that. Alright, back to meal rankings. Porridge with scattered barley. This dish doesn't exactly look all that fancy. Maybe it's because Laios prepared it using very few ingredients. It does look pretty filling though, I'll give it that. The bit of leftover mimic and fish eggs helps to give the dish a bit more flair and much needed protein, because I doubt it'd be all that able to hold its own with just barley and water plants. I can't say too much about the taste, it's basically barley and seafood, though the texture probably feels like oats with a crunchy kick to it. All in all, this feels like a very normal dish taste-wise. Consisting of barley, mimic meat, water weeds, and fish eggs, it's definitely something that could easily be cooked up. The only part that raises eyebrows are the fact that the fish eggs were gotten from fishmen, which are classified as demi-humans. So I wonder, is this a case of cannibalism? Porridge with scattered barley gets a rating of C tier. Boiled and glazed parasitic worm. I'm part of the people that strongly believe grilling is one of the best ways to prepare all kinds of meat. However, this time this meat in question is some unknown parasitic worm. While it does look good with careful preparation, it could be edible, I don't think one should still try it, because any small mistake and you'd be left with some really bad parasites yourself. So proceed with caution. Despite being a literal parasite, it's described to taste really good, fatty, and a bit slimy, far superior to both squid and octopi. I imagine it's yet another type of meat that really melts in your mouth with every bite. But you gotta remember, this is a parasite. A parasite sourced from a kraken. So not only is it incredibly hard to get your hands on, you'd have to dig through a kraken to find it in the first place. Totally doesn't seem worth the hassle. Also, it's a parasite. A parasite. That doesn't seem like something someone should be eating on a normal day. The boiled and glazed parasitic worm gets a rating of D tier. Kelpie grilled meat. Now this is incredibly mouth-watering. Grilled meat takes a return yet again, and this time in abundance. You can see just how juicy and tender they look, drawing you in and wishing you could just hop in and eat with them. Man, I have no words on just how good it looks. Perfection. The characters describe this as not tasting like either horse or seafood, so the best way I can imagine is that it tastes like a mix between beef and pork with extra saltiness that just melts in your mouth, considering they spend most of their time underwater. It's definitely something you've got to try at least once in your life. Since it's Kelpie, it may prove to be difficult to get your hands on, but with some good strategy, you could definitely nab one. I think this is one monster that definitely feels worth the trouble to get because the meat would be also worth it. And since they're the size of the average horse, you could get a lot of mileage out of their meat. Definitely a must try. Kelpie grilled meat gets an S tier from me. Undine stew with tentacles and Kelpie. Yet another rather simple looking meal, however, don't let this simplicity fool you. This dish is quite the well balanced meal with a lot of protein to hold you. Its vibrant red and shiny Kelpie meat makes it look also attractive, and this time, the parts aren't cut into large chunks, so it makes it easy to go down. It tastes like your average stew but with a twist. Every bite will have you tasting something slightly different thanks to the tentacles, so one moment you're tasting something savory, the next you're tasting something sour. I think this is really cool as it has a lot of potential to make some really diverse dishes. This is definitely one that would keep your taste buds on their toes. The stew's main ingredient is Undine, which according to the anime is a colony of spirits, so basically it's spirit flavored water. So if you're the kind of person who doesn't mind eating ethereal beings, I say go for it. However, finding them is a whole different case. Then there's the tentacles, which are tricky to get because they paralyze you on contact, so maybe avoid trying to make this dish as a whole. It's unfortunate because this looks really filling, but I have to give the Undine stew with tentacles and Kelpie a final rating of B tier. Tentacle gnocchi and tentacle pasta. It's pasta, one of the most versatile meals on the planet. A shame that it doesn't stay too long on screen, so there isn't much to comment. However, it does look really good and I bet it would be fun to slurp down. It's pasta with giant frog meat. Though technically the pasta wasn't made from whatever it is pasta is made of, but a different kind of tentacle monster, so the taste wouldn't be all the same. The giant frog meat on the other hand looked a lot like chicken breast, so my brain assumes they almost taste the same. The ingredients used could easily be substituted, being made from tentacle monster and giant frog that aren't too easy to come by. I can't help but feel like this is a dish that shouldn't be sought after, regardless of how good it may look. It's only those that actually know how to handle these that should actually try to prepare them. So because of that, the tentacle gnocchi and tentacle pasta gets a C tier. Cutlets to conquer the red dragon. Made of more tentacle pasta and giant frog meat, you think that it tastes the same as the previous dish, but the pasta is boiled in red wine, so the taste is enhanced. And to make the dish even better, it has more of that glorious, freshly baked bread. The giant frog meat is deep fried in breadcrumbs, which means it'd be extra crunchy. It's all around balanced meal that looks like it would be fun to eat. The dish is one that, while slightly similar to the previous tentacle pasta dishes, uses red wine as a base for the sauce. Though I'm not too fond of red wine myself, I think the taste this time is enhanced, making it even better than the previous meal. To make it even better, the deep fried giant frog is extra crunchy. Plus, there's bread. Bread! I don't think I need to say too much on the ingredients since it's the same as the tentacle pasta, but with red wine. So the same difficulties involved in getting them appear here too. Also, bread. So I give the cutlets to conquer the red dragon a rating of A tier. The Red Dragon Full Course Meal. Made up of the dragon tail soup, onion pizza, and roasted red dragon, this dish is the meal of legends. The bright red and juicy red dragon meat is insanely captivating. I mean, just look at it. I am drooling just gazing at it. I don't think I have any words to describe just how bad I want to eat this. It's meat roasted and prepared to perfection. This is dragon meat, something that doesn't compare to any other kind of meat. My taste buds can only scarcely guess what it tastes like, but I imagine it's very juicy despite how tough and stringy it looks. I'm actually not a big fan of tough meat because of all the chewing involved, but for dragon meat, I can make the exception. Acquiring the meat is the hardest part about this though. It's dragon. However, with careful planning, proper preparation, and a good team, taking down a dragon wouldn't be so far-fetched. The other problem involved with getting the ingredients is how careful you have to be when cutting the meat. Dragons are filled with highly flammable gas, so keeping all sorts of flames away is the best way to go. Despite the dangers involved in facing a dragon, I think the end result is way more than worth it. This is a meal of legends after all. So, to no surprise, I give the Red Dragon Full Course Meal a rating of S tier. My goodness, this video has been quite the undertaking. Looking at the meals over and over again has left me with some super intense cravings. Hopefully, I'm not alone in this spot. But this is when the first part comes to an end, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. And seriously, let me know what your favorite dishes were in the comments below. So stay tuned, this has been your very favorite slice of bread, stay toasty.